guys.
What's going on?
Coach McDaniel mentioned plays 40 and 46 from the last game. I'm not sure. It might have been a throw to Dulcich and a throw into a triangle with Waddle. Those are two that I noticed late in the game. What went into those plays that maybe you wish could have been more? What went into those plays that you would have liked to have replicated more often?
The conviction of my footwork, conviction through the progression. That's what I would say about that.
The 3rd and 4, late sliding short. What you think of that one once you did watch it on tape and maybe see, and also just the situation? Did you feel you should have gone for it there?
I think assessing the situation, talking with head ball, those are quick decisions that you have to make. So it's one of those. I've had a conversation with him. We've talked through it. We've talked about it, and I got to make the right decision for the team and for us to keep us on the field. And so, I got to be better there. So that's it.
How
No,
different?
I guess what more can be done in those cases? Maybe is it something you can think about pre-snap? I know you're thinking about.
Well,
a lot
not necessarily a pre-snap, just as it's happening, right? The refs stop it right as you're about to slide, not where your momentum takes you. So, finding a lane, diving in a direction outside of harm's way, that'd be it.
But as far as the decision between whether slide or dive, like a gotta have it down, would that be something you think about before it happens? Like I'm thinking like an infielder, balls hit to him in baseball, like you got to know where you're going before the play. But I know you have a lot that you're thinking about pre-snap.
For sure. I think it's hard to have that on the top of your mind as you're going through your process with the plays, but it's also tough too as things are happening in game. A lot of the times it's reactionary, right?
On the plays that were off target, did you identify anything from a mechanics perspective, whether it was footwork, hips, etc.?
Yeah.
What was a theme that you might want to be aware of moving forward?
Just bringing my feet with my eyes, because I could be faced this way, and I'm just bringing my eyes. Can't really throw it like that. Just bring it. That's it.
How different is it preparing for the Jets in a post-Sauce Gardner world?
Well, Sauce is a good player, but they still got good players. They're still playing hard. Hence their win this past Sunday against another good team in the Falcons. So we know we're going to get their best, and we're preparing, as if that's going to happen.
It'll be somewhat cold, maybe not very cold, but I know this team hasn't maybe seen that kind of a temperature yet. I think Spain was like kind of open air, but still, I think it felt warm, right, on the field. So what is it like that first time you've experienced a game that's a little bit colder when you're coming from this climate?
Yeah. Well, the first things first, it's going to be cold. You kind of have that on the top of your mind. And then outside of that, it's a mentality. It's a mindset. This is what we get paid to do, to play football, regardless. It's raining, it's snowing, it's sleeting, it's hot, it's cold. Regardless, we got to go out there and play and do our jobs.
Mike was talking about how, it's a good thing that the run game has come on the way it is, but at some point, the passing game, you're going to have to pass to win the game. What's the balance between knowing that and, passing the ball and not being able to, or I don't know, I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but, being able to execute the passing plays when you need them and knowing that maybe you don't have to throw for 200 yards every game to win.
For sure. I think it's the whole balance of offsetting the pass with the run and offsetting the run with the pass. But throughout that process, as the run game has its flow, the pass game has to find that same flow, and they need to be able to intertwine to keep the defense on their heels. And then when we do pass, that's why I think, I've talked to Mike about it as well, just the efficiency for us offensively with me being able to distribute the ball needs to be better. And we need to get our guys in the flow, how we're running the ball as well.
You're kind of along those same lines. It seems like the identity of the offense is shifting real time, right? How have you handled it? Obviously, you care about winning first, but just personally, like how have you handled that shift?
Well, of course, like the winning aspect of it, very important for us. But it's also it's also how we continue to get better. But we can't just like the back end of the year. You can't just lean on one particular style of play as it gets into the deeper parts of December, early January. And then the postseason, you got to be able to pass the ball and pass the ball efficiently before you can start getting the run game going and whatnot. Because the teams that we're going to start playing from here on out, like you're going to get their best. They got in their groove, they found their groove, and that's what that is. So that's what you got to expect.
I was thinking about how sometimes as a pitcher in baseball, he'll like warm up in the bullpen and he'll know pretty quickly, like, I don't have my curveball today. Or a shooter will miss a bunch of shots, and after the game he'll say, I still believe the next one was going to go in. When you're not having a great day, what do you try to tell yourself? What's that mental process in terms of that?
Well, I think for me, it's my reset, and how I do reset for myself is my senses. Whether that's touching my fingers, touching grass, whatever that is, breathing in the air, what I smell through that, just using my senses to bring myself to become present. And that, I would say, that helps me reset.
Do you feel like you're better at that now, like putting the last play or the last series or the last quarter or the last game? Are you better at that now than before?
I would say most definitely. I've never had resets before, never heard of them prior to me using them. So, I think it's a really cool thing to be able to have. Brings you back into the present moment. Can't think about anything else but where you are, where your feet are. Then you move on from there.
Where did that come from? Who was kind of instrumental in getting that?
Well, someone that I ended up talking to. And then, you also have a lot of teammates that, have resets, whether it's clapping for themselves, whether it's saying something that no one knows what they're saying, but that's just for them, for their reset. And so you could take some things as well from other guys.
Last time against the Jets, found success going to Darren Waller. How much is that something you can exploit again as a matchup that worked versus obviously a divisional foe that you face a second time? They'll be making adjustments and try to counter that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be making a lot of adjustments to take Waller away, to take Waddle away. That's why you have progressions. That's why you have other guys that get paid, that run routes, that can catch the ball as well. And I just got to be able to go through the progression, bring my feet along with me, find those eligibles, and distribute it to them.
What do you think? It's happened a couple times there. Waller finds success early, and then he's not targeted for much of the rest of the game.
Yeah, well, I think that has a lot to do with the coverage, and then what we're seeing off of those coverages with the progression.
I think you've won 2 late November games at the Jets. I have to fact check myself, but I think that's true. Are there some positive core memories of playing against the Jets on the road?
Yeah, when you win, those are always great memories. But this is a new year, new team, both sides of the ball, and this is just all new. It's you're not guaranteed to win because you've won there X amount of times or whatnot. So got to go out there and we got to prove it every time we go there.
How have you seen Devon handle the increased workload that's been put upon him the past few weeks?
I mean, at this point, I feel it's second nature to Devon. It's not something that's too much for him, regardless of where we put him, regardless of the alignments that he hears in the huddle, where he is, what the personnel is. I think he does a really good job in hearing that and communicating that as he comes into the huddle. And then you can see what he does when the ball is in his hands. Looks like it's about to be a negative 2-yard loss, and then he makes it up to be an 8-yard gain. So that's who Von is, and that's what we know him to be for us offensively. And it's great to have someone like that.
My question.
You go ahead.
This morning, Mike raved about Jordan Brooks' leadership style in the building, and as the quarterback and leader of the team, I'm just curious what maybe you have taken from Jordan from a leadership perspective.
Well, me and Jordan's lockers are right next to each other, so we have a lot of talks that always relate to football. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of spiritual talks. I don't know if you guys know, but Jordan Brooks is a real spiritual guy when it comes to his belief in, in God and Jesus Christ. But having someone like that next to me, it's hard for us not to talk about football within our spirituality because we almost feel like they go, hand in hand when it's in times of adversity, but then also in times of triumph. There's so many things you can talk about, so many examples that the Bible gives through those as well. But his leadership comes through that, I would say, comes through him being an example of what he knows to be true for himself and what he believes, and that would be the Bible. Thanks, guys.